I just spent 40 hours on my best render yet. I posted it, I got a few likes and nothing else. No clients, no DMs, no money, and deep down I started to wonder, if this didn't move the needle, then what will? The truth, 3D wasn't hard because of the software, it was hard because I was stuck playing a game I didn't even know I was in. So I doubled down, another tutorial, another tweak, another render I hope someone would finally notice. But nothing changed because the brutal truth is, I didn't have a skill problem, I had a strategy problem. And in this video, I'm going to show you the framework that finally got me out of this cycle and landed me in Monaco designing yachts. And I guarantee once you see it, you're going to realize that your lighting and textures aren't the problem. And until you fix that, your work is going to keep disappearing into the void. So I first came across this concept in a book called Algorithms to Live By, and it's about applying computer science logic to human life. And it's called Explore versus Exploit. And once you understand it, you'll see why your renders aren't getting you work, no matter how good they are. Now, exploit might sound bad, but for this video, we're not talking about exploiting people, we're talking about exploiting opportunities, and most 3D artists are trapped in explore mode. Explore mode is everything you love as an artist. It's testing new tools, it's switching from Blender to Unreal just to see how it feels, and it's accumulating skills without a destination. And in the beginning, this is necessary. You have to explore to find what you're good at, but most artists get addicted to this phase, and they stay here for years because exploring feels safe. And as long as you're learning, you don't have to face the market, you don't have to sell, and you don't have to risk rejection. If you keep learning but your career isn't moving, then you are paying curiosity tax. I used to spend all my time accumulating information that I was never going to use just to avoid the fear of the market. Meanwhile, the people that were getting hired, they were in exploit mode, they doubled down on what worked, they built systems around it, and they kept pushing. So one feels productive and the other actually gets results. The change happened for me when I stopped asking what can I learn next, and I started asking who will pay for what I already know. I decided to stop exploring and start exploiting. I looked at my Unreal Engine skills, the same ones I was using in video game design, and I realized that there was a gap in the market in aviation and marine. And these industries had plenty of engineers, but they didn't have anyone who could make their products look great in real time. So I stopped watching tutorials and I stopped caring about the newest features, and I took the skills I already had and I pitched them to aviation companies, and I went from rendering assets for fun to visualizing jets and yachts, and the software didn't change, my skill level didn't even change that much. What changed was the application. I moved from explore, gathering information, to exploit, using the information to get a result. So exploit mode is picking one specific problem to solve, targeting one specific type of client, and building a repeatable system around this, and most of all, shipping work and getting paid. So you're already likely good enough, you just haven't switched modes yet. And I'm not saying that one is better than the other, balancing both is crucial. Over exploration is inefficient, while over exploitation risks missing bigger long-term strategies. But you can't simultaneously maximize information gain and reward. So businesses have to exploit cash cows to survive, but also to explore new markets to avoid stagnation. So in life, this is a difference between enjoying new things and established comforts. So this is why people usually travel far when they're young. They have more energy and they can take more risks. Whereas as people get older, they know what they like and they don't have the energy to risk on a holiday somewhere they hate. This is why as people get older, they tend to go to the same locations and have the same routines. So the big question is, when do you switch? How do you know when you've had enough exploring? This is called the optimal stopping problem, and there is actually a mathematical answer to this, and it's called the 37% rule. It states that if you have a limited amount of time to make a decision, then you should spend 37% of that time purely exploring options without committing. Then once you find a lane that works, you lock in and you exploit it aggressively. So let's say you give yourself 12 months to launch your 3D career. For the first 4 months, which is roughly 37%, you go wild, you break things, you try ArcViz, character design, and automotive rendering. You gather data on what you enjoy, and most importantly, what the market reacts to. You use communities like 3D artists to get feedback on your work and discuss the direction you are heading. But the second you hit that 37% line, you stop. You look at the data, you pick the one lane that had the most traction, and you ruthlessly exploit it for the remaining 8 months. You stop looking for the next cool plugin, you stop starting random projects, you build a portfolio that solves one specific problem for one specific type of client. Cool, so we've worked out the mathematically correct time to stop exploring and lock in exploiting your skills to make money But how do you actually make money? The value multiplier. If you have one of these, you have a hobby. If you have all three, then you have a business that runs on repeat. And most artists think value comes from step one, which is technical competence. This is the skill you already have. You can make the thing. But here is the harsh truth. Technical skills alone is a commodity. Here's the baseline. There are millions of people who can render a nice car. You cannot win on skill alone anymore. Real money is made at step 2, commercial logic. This is understanding why a client actually needs a render. A client doesn't care about poly count. They care about the results. Does your render help them sell a house before it's built? Does it make their product look so good that a customer doesn't hesitate to click buy? A real estate developer doesn't want a pretty picture of a building. They want to sell property before it's built so they can pay back their investors. If you can say, I create visuals that help property developers secure pre-construction funding, you are no longer just another pixel pusher. Then stage 3, this is the stuff that nobody's talking about except in Future-Proof 3D Artist. Exploiting means efficiency, it means file structures, naming conventions, asset libraries, and templates. And successful artists don't reinvent the wheel every time they start a project. When I was doing yachts, I didn't rebuild the ocean every time. I had a yacht environment template ready to go. I could drag and drop and render, and that efficiency allowed me to charge premium prices while working fewer hours. We work on these 3 points inside of Future-Proof 3D Artist, and if you want to start applying these alongside 10 other 3D artists over 12 weeks, click the link below to find out more. If you're not ready for that yet, then you are more than welcome to come join the free 3D Artist community, where we have weekly live sessions, feedback on your work, and lots more. The link is below. So look, most 3D artists don't fail because they lack skill. They fail because they never decide what that skill is for. So stop paying the curiosity tax, pick a problem, build a system, and start shipping.